We are in front of the palm tree that my husband asked me to plant for his birthday one year. It's growing slowly. Let's see how we can grow in our world history knowledge. So after the Industrial Revolution, what we're going to be doing is leading up to World War I. So we're going to talk about a few key things that we need to know and remember, and some of them are going to directly fall into the path of World War I. There are some key events that occur in governmental philosophy. There's a key tragedy in Ireland that causes many Irish people to leave the country, to emigrate, to exit, and they do end up, a lot of them, in America, to the point where we have, I read recently, like 8 times, some vast amount more Irish people living in America than in Ireland itself. We're going to talk about Germany. So you know Germany is the major villain of World War I and World War II. What were some of Germany's goals in the decades that preceded that? Some perhaps contributing to their highly nationalistic desires that caused the world to have to go to war. We're going to talk about Japan. Now, Japan is actually the U.S.'s ally in World War I, a famous adversary in World War II, but let's not jump ahead of World War I yet. There's a big World War I before what's in our recent memory of World War II. To talk about governmental philosophy, we're going to start by talking about Karl Marx. Now, Karl Marx, you may think of him as more famous in things that end up happening in Russia, but he himself is German, and Germany doesn't like him. When he's a relatively young professional, in about his 30s, he's exiled. Germany doesn't want him anymore. So he ends up living in London with his family, and he writes a lot. His very famous writing is the Communist Manifesto. Okay, and he had very noble ideas of how this would help people. And you probably have your own opinions about which of his ideas were practical, and you probably know some of the ways that they have impacted world and nations events in perhaps detrimental ways in how they've played out. We've got some major examples. Mao of China, Chairman Mao, how he caused famines to occur there. Those were communist ideas where he wanted to control all of the production that happened in the country. Now, Marx's main ideas were that classes were always at war. And if you look at world history, you see this pyramid, this hierarchy of the leaders and the workers. And if you will, the haves, the have-nots, those who live in luxury and those who toil away. And Marx just said it's always going to be that way unless things drastically, perhaps violently, change. And one day it won't be this way. That was kind of in a way, his hope and his prediction as well. And I'm going to cover up Marx there a little bit. He felt that eventually, even if it was by a violent means, that society needed to be classless, that we needed to take away that pyramid structure that we've had throughout history, that there should not be the leaders and the workers, the haves and the have-nots. He felt that this was inevitable and also beneficial. So that's Karl Marx, and that's kind of a background. So he's going on in the 1800s. He lives throughout the 1800s. He's exiled mid-1800s. Marx is going on. So these ideas are brewing. What are some other ideas that are influencing government at this time? There's also Adam Smith. Now, he ends up being pretty influential in America. He himself is Scottish, and he influences England a lot. Right when we're declaring our independence as an American nation, he is writing his own document, which actually predates Communist Manifesto. If you notice those dates, this is previous. The Wealth of Nations, which he publishes in 1776. And his ideas are very much in opposition to authority.